Today's top story from the perspective of someone who's there.
You are looking live.
This just in.
Not my beat.
It's a Monday, so that means Michael Phillips is with us. Michael joining us from Los Angeles before getting on his plane to come back to the East Coast. And Michael, that game was probably the most meaningless, like uninteresting, whatever, until Jacoby Brissett came in. Like that to me was the most insignificant game this team has played since 2019, since I left the beat. And nothing to do with me leaving the beat. It's just the last time that they happened to be this bad. Yeah. And of course, there was a coach firing season, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of a sudden, Jacoby comes in. The offense looks like it knows how to function. Terry goes nuts. And we have something to talk about. And it's not that we have like a quarterback controversy. It's just like, wow, was that an A-B test? And all of a sudden, Sam as A looks completely different? Was that the Rams had kind of like been like, all right, we're good. And that really was more what it was about? Like, what do you make of, with the night to sleep on it and all that kind of stuff and more talking and all that, what do you make of what we saw yesterday?
Yeah, I'll take a sampler platter there. It's garbage time. Everybody looks good in garbage time. But he did something Sam's been unable to do for a long time. Make a quick, decisive throw. He was playing with a garbage offensive line, and he knew that. And he made a quick decision, got quick routes, got the balls to his star players quickly. All those things we want Sam to do, and we want Sam to learn from this, and we want Sam to have watched this and say, okay, that's what it looks like, all right? Watch that tape this week. That's what it looks like when this offense runs with these limitations. I need to do that. I need to figure out how to do that. Obviously, not getting Terry the ball enough has been a focus this year. It's a weird week to harp on that because, I mean, he had a very nice fourth down conversion to Terry on the scramble. Mm-hmm. Should have had another completion to Terry on Terry's crazy one-handed catch, which, by the way, was totally a catch. I hate this new replay system. I didn't see enough there to overturn it, and he was being interfered with the whole way. Give the man the benefit of the doubt. Enough complaining about Terry's catches and non-catches. I think it would have been a big day for Terry even without the end. But, right, Jacoby Brissett lays down the tape. Here's what you need to do, Sam. Quick throws to your star players. Roll from there. And it's the correct call by Ron, right, to say we're sticking with Sam and the rest of the season is about his development. But the big question against a really good New York Jets defense next week, can Sam do that? Because if Sam can't do that, we do need to start asking some big, tough questions.
Right. Well, or we just have the answers. I don't even know if it's about asking questions. Yeah. It's like, hey, this is what it is. He's not going to be with our top 5 pick. Like, we're going to go in that direction, and he's not going to be our quarterback moving forward. You say he's got to see it, right? Like, hey, this is what it looks like. And there's a part of me that's like, just give Jacoby another game. That's like, hey, man, let's see what happens on a full week, and then we'll go back to Sam for the final 2. Like, let Sam kind of mentally reset. Of course, there's no guarantees that the game would go as well as those 2 drives did for Brissett, and so you might wind up just wasting a chance to get Sam experience. But I'm curious what they do this week, Michael, on like how do you get Sam to reset, or is this kind of a test of how you rebound and how you handle the adversity for a guy who's been pretty steady in kind of I don't want to necessarily call it character, but kind of the makeup, the demeanor department all year.
No, I agree with that. He's been unflappable this year for sure.
That's the word I was trying to say. Yeah, this is why you're a fancy journalist.
I'm a word guy person,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think he will continue to be. I don't think anything about his mental makeup is being tested here. I think it's just about whether or not he can be an NFL quarterback at this point. I think that's what's being tested. And I think he will say the right things, do the right things, not just publicly, but privately as well. I don't think the locker room will split over this in any way. I do think if he struggles again this week, though, with 2 games left, you have 2 people who you need to factor in here. So if we leave next week's game against the Jets saying Sam's definitively not QB1 next year, they're going to draft somebody, Sam will hang around his backup, we'll see how he develops. I think, do you owe it to Jacoby, who's been a very positive influence this year, as well liked, to give him a little time to show what he's got and chase his bag in the free agent market next year? And Eric Bieniemy, does Eric Bieniemy need to lay down some tape that says, hey, look, things didn't go the way I wanted to, but did you see what happened when this guy came in? Did you see what happened when I had Jacoby Brissett come in? I can do that for your team. We're in every man for himself territory. This is what you do in late December on a bad team. Every man for himself. Those 2 loyalties here matter as well. Do you owe EB a game tape of Jacoby Brissett? Do you owe Jacoby Brissett a game tape of Jacoby Brissett? Those are the big questions. We're not there yet, but we'll see how Sam Howell plays against the Jets. You're right. Very big game coming.
Yeah, I actually would probably do that in the final week of the season if he has 2 bad ones in a row. I would do that. I would say, hey, Jacoby, as a thank you for being a good soldier. You know, you came in, we told you it'd be a competition. There's never really a competition. You know, all that kind of stuff. And to be fair, like, to whatever extent there was a competition, Sam won it in camp. Like, Sam was the better guy. And Sam, I think that's the hard thing to swallow, Michael, is it's not like Sam Howell's been terrible all year. Sam is seemingly regressing as of late. And I don't know whether there's like a David Carr shell-shocked thing happening, whether teams are just super on to what EB is doing. And why that is it could be parsed out a bunch of different ways. Logan and I were talking about this on the pod last night. It's like, is this the stuff that Sam wants to run? And Eric's like, all right. And at what point does Eric then need to be like, no, we're going to do something else as the OC? Like, this is multifactorial and thus very hard to assess blame. But I think my big takeaway is the marriage here, the fit here was a bad one. Like, the idea that what Eric wants to do fits with a young quarterback, specifically this young quarterback. If you wanted to win games this year, it was just a bad idea. That's hard to admit as someone who was super psyched about the hire and thought that things would go very, very differently.
Reverse car wash. Come in clean, you leave dirty, right? Eric Bieniemy's your latest victim. I mean, we got to call it what it is at this point. Eric Bieniemy, I have not lost any respect for him as a play caller, as an organizer, as a coach, as a man. I've been impressed by what I've seen, quite frankly. At the same time, let's step aside from that and call this what it is. He's more damaged goods now than he was when he got here, and that is what Ashburn does to people. And that is, you know, the latest in a long line of Ashburn. He got a long career ahead of him. I still think he can be a head coach in the NFL. I'll say that right now. I think when you have stories about the players undercutting you with the coach, that's a bad look. I asked Ron yesterday after the game, who made the call to bench Sam? Was it you or was it Eric? And he said very unequivocally, that was my call. Now, I don't know if that's a head coach diving on the grenade or not, but that's not great, right? Like, he was promised this autonomy, and he kind of maybe hasn't had this autonomy / is being undercut at different ways. So there's a big Eric Bieniemy discussion to be had here too. But I think with Sam Howell, you don't get the luxury of getting a system catered to you when you're a 5th round draft pick. You end up where you end up, and you get thrown into what you get thrown into. He's gotten as many breaks and opportunities as a 5th round pick could reasonably expect to receive. And tough finish here to the season. Jets, Niners, Cowboys, 3 good defenses on tap. This is the NFL, buddy. Earn your keep.
Yeah. I mean, the Bieniemy side of it, like, if I'm the Chargers, I'm moderately interested in him. Like, hey, I need a super duper quarterback for this system to work. But if I have one, like, this system can make you a champion, like, I'm interested. But that it goes back to, like, what you just said. Do you get something built around you? And I just think that when you look at Ron's tenure here on the offensive side of the ball, there's never been a cohesive vision. Like, that is something that is one of the most damning things, besides the long snapper. We'll get to it. But not having any kind of offensive identity in terms of how you build the roster and what scheme you are running is, like, it's basic stuff on team building. And they have gone from this Eric Coryell vertical passing game to be like, oh, we got to run the football, and built an O-line kind of that way that was more run personnel than a bunch of pass blockers. Then you bring in Bieniemy, and he passes the ball more than anyone else, and he's doing it with a guy who's had one career start coming into the year. Like, it's just no wonder it didn't work. And I feel very dumb for having bet the over on their win total this season.
Craig, there wasn't a cohesive strategy with 2.5 minutes left when they had an opportunity to score and do something. Do you go for 2? Do you not go for 2? Do you run a play in front of the 2-minute warning? They don't know what to do. They didn't know what to do. It's year 4.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite, in air quotes, sequence of that is they run a quarterback sneak from the 2, which gets them, what is there, 24 inches in, well, no, that's in 2 feet. It gets them 1.5 yards, basically, right? And your quarterback's 6'4", 235 pounds. And then you don't run it again? From the one, you go in shotgun and pass it from the 1 foot line?
It's the easiest play in football because when you reach, the play is over. It doesn't matter if they swat the ball out. The play is over. You've scored.
I couldn't believe that. And then 8 plays later, they scored.
Yeah.
8.
9, by the way, because the pass interference didn't count on the official tally.
Yeah, well, that was second and third down initially. So I think that's how that.
Logan's
that
offensive pass interference. Yeah. Yes. Mind-boggling.
Insane.
Bad football.
Yeah. Bad. We've seen a lot of.
That was special. Now that was special
football.
yesterday. I think that was special bad football. 8, 9 plays from the goal line to score with the game conceivably still in reach, and then you don't go for 2, and then everything just unravels from there.
Yeah, so that leaves the final thing that we'll talk about. The defense is interesting, kind of, but I kind of want to watch the tape before anyone talks about that. But you've got the long snapper situation, and if only we could have possibly known in the preseason that Cameron Cheeseman wasn't an NFL caliber long snap. Right. Is this the most inexplicable? Like, we've covered the Washington football franchise for collectively 20 years. Of course, there's some overlap there, but we've seen a lot of bad football and a lot of dumb decision making. A lot of inexplicable things happen. Is this the single most inexplicable football? Very important caveat. Football decision that you've seen. Yeah,
gotta be. Can I quote Animal Farm?
Sure.
So everybody's equal, but some people are more equal than others. Right? That's the NFL for you, because some guys get protected in the NFL. Some guys were first-round draft picks, and they're going to get a lot of opportunities. Some guys are Trey Lance, and we'll get to play in the league for a long time. Some guys are Carson Wentz, and will get protected because of that. Some guys get discarded quickly because they're late-round draft picks, or you're an undrafted guy and you get one shot at a roster. Some guys are long snappers. Long snappers don't get any protection. One bad snap, you're on to the next team. That is how long snapping works in the NFL. Your first bad snap, you're gone. And look, it's a carousel. Same with kickers. You miss a big kick, you're cut, you end up on a different team. That's how long snapping works too. A long snapper got the level of protection reserved for a first-round draft pick because Ron didn't want to be embarrassed by the headline of cutting a long snapper he traded for. It was an issue in the fall. It was an issue in the season. It was an issue when Tress Way got blown up yesterday. It's been an issue for so long. He's protecting the long snapper in a way he did not protect other players who maybe deserved it a whole lot more.
Well said. I got nothing to add. Yeah, that's other than that should have been a flag, unnecessary roughness on the hit that Tress took. That was ridiculous.
It was.
We just dive helmet first into the dude's head. And
it was. I was too busy focusing on the Cheeseman aspect. I mean, you got to respect the honesty though. Post game, I like Cheeseman. Like, I'm a little surprised I'm still here too. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I packed my bags weeks ago. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Michael Phillips, Washington Times, if you want to read him. And, of course, down in Richmond, 910 The Fan. You can check him out there, which, of course, you can listen to if you're driving through on 910 The Fan or anywhere, anytime on the free Odyssey app. His show from this morning, MP on the Mic, started at 10 a.m. It ended at noon, and thus it is available via the Rewind feature right now. Michael, thank you, sir. Safe travels back, and we will talk to you next Monday.
You will not talk to me next Monday. It's Christmas, but you will talk to me at some point next week. And we'll do this 3 more times because it's what we do.
Yeah, no, that is very true. I'm not working on Monday. Enjoy. Have a Merry Christmas, Michael.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you, and happy changes coming soon to everybody out there in Radio Land.
Oh, yes. We'll talk more about that next.
Hey, this is DA, and you're listening to The Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and the Odyssey app.